Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, and today is Lindy Stampking's very first blog hop, and as a design team member I'm so excited to participate and share with you my favorite products from Lindy Stampking. I'm going to be working with the Starburst Stains Creme Brulee Cream, and I take my stains, I like to keep these, put the spray tops on, but they come with the daubers and they're awesome too. I put the spray on this one, so we're going to be working with that. We're also going to be working with the Magical Micas. This is Rambling Rose Pink. I love the Magical Micas. They're so much fun to work with. And then my new favorite, which is the Moon Glow. It's two-toned embossing powder. This one is Orbit Olive Gold, but I love all of the embossing powders. They are so fun to work with. So I'm just going to show you a couple of techniques and things I'm going to be doing, and then at the end I will put a card together using some of the things we did here today. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take a piece of this off-white cardstock, and this measures, let's see, it's 4 by 5 1/4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Versamark ink and just take my ink pad and go right along the edges of my cardstock. So I'm kind of just feathering on the embossing powder, or the embossing ink. So I'm just doing that around all 4 sides of my cardstock, and I'm just going right around, and I'm even adding a little extra, and it looks like I'm pretty good with getting coverage on there. So I'm going to take just a piece of scrap paper here and my embossing powder, and again this is the Orbit Olive Gold, and this is really one of my favorite colors to use. So I'm just sprinkling that on, and there's a really cool gold tone to it, so I don't know if you can see that shimmering on the cardstock. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside. I'll pour this back into my jar later on. So I'll set that aside and put the cap back on my embossing powder. And just to make it a little easier for doing this, I'm going to use this over my little box here. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this up with my heat gun and melt the embossing powder. But hopefully you could see that really cool metallic shine to it with the hint of gold. I just love this, and I love the green. So okay, so that was that. That was going to be the base, or one of the matte layers to my card. So I'm just going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to do, this is from K & Company, one of the K & Company's Sweet Valentine paper line. This is the new one from this year. I'm going to take this and just put this right inside my little spray box here. And I'm going to use the Creme Brulee Starburst stain with the spray cap. And I'm just going to put a nice little mist of this right on this piece of cardstock, or a piece of pattern paper, and then use my heat tool to heat it up, or to dry it rather. This piece of cardstock measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I did that a little smaller because I did some sewing around the edges of it. So you'll see that in a minute. So I'm not going to dry this all the way. I'm just going to dry it a little bit so you could at least see the shine this has. So hopefully you can see the shine there. Okay, so I'm just going to set that one aside. I already have one of those ready. So the next thing I'm going to do is use my Magical Micas, and I'm going to be using this Rambling Rose Pink Magical Micas, and some of these are from I Am Roses. These are just little hydrangeas, and I'm going to use my aqua pen to kind of color in some of this flower. So what I'm doing is just picking up some of the powder onto my aqua pen, putting it right inside the cap, and then dropping some extra water right in there. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it up, and I put a lot of water because I didn't want it too dark of a color. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I like to use my lid as my palette. So what I'm going to do is, just starting from the center, brush my magical micas right up the leaf. And for the bigger one, I'm kind of going up a little bit higher because I'm going to be layering the smaller one, so I want to make sure you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to set that one aside to dry, and then I'll go ahead and do my little one. And again, I'm starting from the center and just working my way out. Like I said, the flower just soaks up that mica. It's beautiful. It's got a great shine to it. And right now what I'm doing is just kind of feathering out some of that color so it kind of fades out instead of being so stark and... Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and set that right inside my box here to dry them. But before I dry them, I'm now going to add some more of the creme brulee starburst spray right over the top of it. And this one kind of softens the color even a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and heat that up, and then we'll go ahead and put our card together. Okay, so I have all of the elements to my card now all ready to go. This is the piece of cardstock, the off-white cardstock that I added the embossing powder around the edge, and then my pattern paper that I used the Starburst Stains creme brulee cream spray on. And then what I did was I just went to my sewing machine and did a zigzag sewing line right around the whole card. So what I'm going to do now is attach this to the front of my card. This card measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's a top open or top folded card. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. I want to make sure my printing to the front of my pattern paper is going in the right direction. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that right to the front of my card. Okay, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I have my little flowers here that I use the magical micas and the spray, and I'm just going to put those together, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun, but first I want to add this little piece of trim down to the bottom here. So I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just run. I'm just going to add a bead of hot glue right down the bottom of my card, and I'm going to take my ribbon here. This is just a piece of like a ruffled trim, and I'm going to put that right across the bottom. And then I'll use my scissors to trim that off. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is put my flowers right here at the bottom. So I'm going to just use my hot glue gun to, since I have it out, to adhere this down. So that'll go right on the bottom. And I'll put the smaller one right on top. And I want to make sure that my petals are going in different directions or the opposite directions of each other. Okay. And I have these nice big pearls, so I'm just going to add a pearl right to the center. Kind of just fluff up my flower a little bit. And then I took some more of the pattern paper and I used this punch. This is a Stampin' Up! Punch. I'm not sure if this is even still available at Stampin' Up!, but it's at the 3-heart punch. And I punched out some of the same pattern paper from the collection from K & Company and punched them out on a coordinating pattern paper and just added some dimensionals to the back. And for these, I'm just going to stick these all around the flower. And this last one, I didn't add any dimensionals to. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a little drop of glue and add this one right to the top of that other one here. Okay, so that is my card, and now if you head over to my website, www.creationswithchristina.com, there'll be a post with a giveaway, and you're going to be able to win the Creme Brulee Starburst Stains spray, the Ramblin' Rose Magical Micas, and the Orbit Olive Gold embossing powder from Lindy Stamp Gang as a part of the blog hop. And I'll also link to all the other designers for the on the design team, and you can visit their blogs because they also will have some awesome projects and giveaways as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.